What's going on, everybody? This is Rodney with Navtastic EDC, and wanted to do a real quick info video and update on previous projects and stuff. I wanted to run by you guys because I told you I would. As far as the Twosun TS73, I tried to heat this up and remove this scale and was afraid that I was going to damage it, and it did not work. A couple guys commented in the videos that I could take apart, and there was a small hole in the back side of this that I could then heat up and use that hole to push through. Maybe on some models Twosun had that option, but on the sample I have, as you can see, there is no hole. This hole here is just for the pin that holds on the rear back spacer, or that aligns it. So there is no hole exposed going through to the G10 inlay on the far side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start out by mapping it out where I want it, so in case I do something more than one, I can make some symmetrical lightning holes, as I've said I would possibly do, and other guys have said would look good. That would lighten up the weight of this knife some. But I'm going to start out with just one, and then I'm going to heat up and remove this scale, because I do want to save it in case I want to put it back as orange, or dye it and put it back as dyed, or you know, do the raffia that we have here. I have some babinga wood. I have some other scale material that I might use. I might try to find a piece of burl, or you know, some kind of nice looking wood. You know, there's no telling what I might use, but I'm going to do something. And that's the update on that. So tomorrow at work, if I have time, or this coming week, I will be modifying this scale and removing and getting the process of making a new scale. That's going to be a slow process because the hours I work and the time I have is going to be limited, because I'm in the process of still healing from my foot and having my own situation and so forth. All right. Now, I showed you some projects earlier, a couple Twosun items and some other items that I was going to anodize. And while I really wanted to do greens, for some reason or another, I can't get greens out of my machine. It gets to a certain voltage and just seems to start sparking and kicking back and burning the surface. I'm going to reach out to a couple different other channels and do some Google searches and find out what I'm doing wrong. But one of the items was this whistle. I did sort of like a stage blue. I go from like a more of a blue to a bright blue, then back to a grayish blue, anthracite to a blue, back to a gray, and then to a purple on the end. Thought it come out pretty decent. I like the way it looks. It's a neat little gadget. This originally came as a lighter that you could, a little brass lighter that you could put inside and it be used as a lighter. You can see that the anode goes all the way through, purple on the inside and blue on the inside of this one. So I did it in multiple steps, trying to get a sort of unichromatic effect going on. This can also be used as a waterproof container because this is an O-ring seal, and that's probably what I would use it for. Okay, and that's that. And then we had the razor tool. This sort of come out depending on how the light hits it, because it's a stone wash. This is between a blue and a blurple. Seems the way I seem to be able to get blues no problem. Blue is a pretty easy color to get. It's a low voltage blue and then a higher voltage blue. I can get blues at a couple different voltages, so depending on which ones I go for, I can get blues pretty easily. And bronzes and yellows and golds are real easy too. This is a really nice tool to have. The razor blade slides in here, and once you get to working on this, it slides in and out. When I first got this, I couldn't figure, I had such a time sliding this razor back and forth. It's like, all right, how does it move? How does it? And now that I found out that whenever you're pressing on it, if you just press on the razor itself, slide it where you want it, let it go, and it locks in position. And you have a couple different areas to where it locks and all the way out. So, you know, minimal to none to a little bit to a lot. And then it's a real nice pry bar feature which I really like that. It's always nice to have a utility tool. I wish, and I might get, I might do this later on. I might get them to throw this in the EDM machine at work and put a hex in this so I can use this as a bit driver, and make a little throw some hex bits in this and carry this and this together, and I got a hex container, bit container, and a hex driver in the pocket at all times. That's a little bit much, but anyway, that's that. And then I showed you the Kershaw Dimension, and I did this in a two-tone. I did take this apart, of course, to do the ano work, and I got the spring better. It's a assist. It actually has more authority opening now. It was a little bit dirty, and it had what I thought to be an extra washer in it from the factory, because this is a bronze washer and a Teflon washer combined. On one side is a bronze washer and Teflon washer. Then on another side, it's a bronze washer, Teflon washer, and another bronze washer, or brass. And it confused me. I said, all right, they put an extra washer in there, and that's causing the action to be stiff and tight. So when I put it back together after I anode it, I left one of those brass washers out, the bronze washers out. And then I couldn't get it good and tight. I couldn't get the blade centered. So I put it back. And I've been back and forth changing the direction. I did put some anti-seize stuff that I have here, a lubricant on the spring bar, the torsion bar, and inside the channel where those ride at. And this is a fairly easy assist to take apart. I did leave the spring out, hoping to leave it de-assisted. But what happens with this knife, the spring bar under tension is what holds this knife closed. So the torsion bar is the detent on this knife. Without the torsion bar in place, there is no detent. It does not work. So that sort of is crappy, but it is what it is. So those of you who had mentioned about de-assisting, that's not an option. I do have some other Kershaws that I have de-assisted, and I like them better. But on this particular one, you cannot de-assist. And what I did with this one was a dual color. I have inside the grooves there, sort of a goldish colored, and then I got the blue on the far side and on top. And what I did was I just did the back one in the blue. Then I did the top scale. I ramped up to a particular color, which was the sort of the goldish bronze looking here. Not the first bronze, but like I think it was around 40 volts, 45 volts is where I got this color bronze at. And then I took it back off and I surfaced and sanded off the top color of the bronze on that scale, left the bronze in the lower grooves here, and cleaned it and went back and anoded it to blue again. So because with anodization, as long as you stay under a color, if you ramp up a color, you can do any color below that without affecting that color. So I was able to get these blues without affecting the color beneath. You can also do that by painting in stripes or using stickers. There's all kinds of stuff you can do with ano, and I'm not a professional ano anyway. Like I said, I was having a problem with greens. I'm still new to this, and I'm learning a lot of stuff, and my machine might not be the greatest. But that's that. This is the Kershaw Dimension 3810, done in a blue ano with the monochromatic, or I'm not sure if that's mono. Mono means one, right? So it's not monochromatic, it's multicolored, multichromatic. Am I right? Am I stupid? I don't know. The button lock is strictly to close it only, and the thumb stud works, but the flipper action works better. But you can definitely tell that it is opening now. If you get back to the previous video, it was so quiet you can tell if it opened, but now you definitely hear it opening. And as you can see, I'm not using any flick of the wrist. Before, you had to flick it a little bit to get it to open and stay. Well, not to stay open, but to make sound of authoritatively opening and locking in position, you had to give a little bit of flick of the thumb or the wrist. But that's what. Let me know. That's that. Let me know what y'all guys think about that. The Kershaw 3810. And then two other knives, and I'm going to show you one more thing, and that's going to be it for the video. A while back I had showed you this Hillbar Shimuro that I modded, and it had the black hardware and the black pivot collar and the spiral collar. Well, what I did is I ended up changing some stuff around, and I got the gold color collar, the gold titanium hardware, and I anoded the pocket clip a gold color to match. So now we got sort of the blue stripe antique look to where I've buffed the perimeter of the knife, and down here in the channels I've got it to where it's somewhat pocket worn, antiquated, I reckon is a word I'm looking for, antiquated, to give it that sort of worn in, pocket worn look. This is a front flipper running on no oil. It's just a really well made knife. There is no detent hardened insert, but you know, I don't notice much lock stick as long as I give it a nice authoritative open. There is no lock stick, but when I seem to open up real light, the lock stick seems to be worse, if that makes any sense. But it all depends. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me depending on how you open it. But the knife, this is one of my most fidget friendly knives. I really do like it, and that's that. And then I buy these no-namers, these one-offs, knockoffs, homages, clones, whatever you want to call them, because I love modding and tinkering, and it's much easier for me as a knife connoisseur, collector, whatever you want to call me. If I want to tinker on something, it's much easier to tinker on a knife that doesn't cost me a mortgage payment. And that's why sometimes I buy these lower end knives instead of spending $700-800 on a custom or a mid-tech. I found this is a knife that I totally modded out. This is a knife I got off of eBay. It is titanium. It's quality. It feels good in the hand. It had real sharp edges. All these shiny edges on top were sharp. Felt really rough in pocket. I paid $36 for this knife. Yeah, $36. Full titanium. Not sure about the blade steel. It's probably D2 or worse, which there's nothing wrong with D2. It's got a nice edge. It did need some tweaking and finessing and a detent ramp put on it, but the action on this thing is just great. It's as I say it doesn't open. It's running on bushings. It just feels really good in hand. I do like a Strider. This gives me a chance to feel one because I have never had one in hand before, and I will probably eventually own one day when I can afford it. But this allowed me to mod. I did a bronze anode on this, then I come back and I sanded the high ridges off, which I did that before, and after I anoded it, I just scuffed them up to get the shine back. But basically we have, you know, a lower anode of a bronze below, and then the top edges are the chrome, and of course the blackened stainless hardware, and the blue pocket clip and blue back spacer. But yeah, that is that, and I really like this one in hand. It's got nice lockup. Like I said, I put a detent ramp on it while it's not drop shut because it is on bushings. I'm amazed at how well this fits in my hand. It just feels really good, and the reverse grip is just amazing. I did have to get this one apart. I had to make, because I couldn't get it apart, it just spun and spun. So I made this little spanner wrench that runs off a 3/8 open end, and then the little spanners you can see there that fit down into the slots on the knife and locks it in place, and allowed me to turn the Allen head through the other side. This is a see-through pivot, and this just lines up like that. getting it lined up. If I can get it on camera, it just lines up, you know, and keeps that solid with a wrench. And basically you just hold a wrench with that and turn that with an Allen wrench, and I was able to break them free. And that's what I did that with. It took me about 10 minutes, 15 minutes to make that. And yeah, so this allowed me, you know, between mods and making the tool my own personal time, I was able to tinker and make this one mine and make it into a good knife. And if it falls out the boat while I'm fishing or in the creek at the river, or lose it or whatever, I haven't lost much, except my personal work, which would mean a lot to me. But it's not like I'm losing a $300, $400, $500, $600, $700 pocket knife. Of course, I know I don't have that in this one either, you know, because it's not a Strider by no means. Last and not least, because it's getting long now, I'm tired. My wife found these. This would be a good EDC item. She found this at Walmart. This is a flashlight combination jump starter. Now, it's basically a power bank. You can use it to charge up phones, jump start your car. It actually has an accessory it's called the Car Genie, to where you can plug it into the cigarette lighter and crank your car through the cigarette lighter with this flashlight. Now, she got herself one, or this might be my son's or hers, I'm not sure. But I've already opened mine up, and basically it comes with a couple different accessories. It comes with where you plug this into the flashlight and hook it up to the car battery. You plug this into the flashlight and hook it into the cigarette lighter. You can plug this into the cigarette lighter and charge it. Comes with a nice sort of velvety, neoprene, stretchy type material case, and it is a little on the large side. It's a little bulky, but it's a charger. You know, it's got to take up some size. It's got to have a big battery pack in there. It is made out of plastic. It's made by Go Power. It has the multiple ports in here for charging, turning off and on, hooking your phone up to it or whatever. And to use it as a flashlight, you slide the switch to the on position, and you can see these 4 bar lights here. That also tells you that it's ready to jump. But you press and hold this button for just over a second, and the light comes on, and it's not the brightest light in the world, but it is pretty bright. It would, you know, probably last long enough if you had to walk to the nearest gas station or home or whatever, or flag somebody down. And I thought it was a pretty neat little tool to have, and this is definitely going to be in my arsenal of tools in the truck. Like I said, these are available at Walmart and probably elsewhere. They, again, they're made by Go Power by Idea. It's one of those Idea projects. It says Idea. Ideation. By Ideation. My battery's going dead. Later, y'all. God bless. This is Rodney Naftaski EDC. Bye now.